on your breath, hydrogen goes through your head. Still the kid that doesn't like.
Hey there YouTube, it's Kurt here. Today I'm going to talk about our new album as a band. So this is kind of a promotional video, but it's not fully a promotional video. Really what I'm going to talk about is the dynamics of the album and how we achieve more dynamics in our music than you will see in most other albums nowadays. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the compression. When other bands compress their music, and a lot of mainstream artists compress their music, a lot of times they do it to a very large extent. And what you'll end up with is when you compress that waveform, it naturally decreases the dynamics of your overall music. And really what we didn't really use any compressors in our final mix except for a multi-band compressor. And multi-band compression is significantly different than regular compression, so we just forewent any regular compression and just did the multi-band, because the multi-band just kind of brings out the instruments a little bit more than just regular compression does. So your multi-band, you'll actually be able to hear different parts of what your music is sounding like, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, for example, the rides will sound a lot more clear when you're playing like the drum set, and they'll be more distinct and they'll pop a little bit more. So yes, it is a form of compression, but it's not as extreme. So with that said, that is one of the primary reasons our music is so dynamic. The RMS for most of the album will be about 13. There are parts of the album that get as high as to -2, which is pretty high, but it's for very small sections. And really, when you're doing certain types of music, sometimes it's hard to get a really low RMS if you're doing really loud sections of the songs where the loudness is coming from the instruments. So I don't really feel too bad about that. But like the one thing that makes this album so dynamic when it comes to the dynamic range is the fact that we mix in a lot of clean sounds to our music. So for example, one of our favorite albums is Nirvana's Nevermind. And we kind of expanded upon that technique of doing quiet parts than doing loud parts. Now if you listen to remastered Nevermind, of course the RMS will actually be pretty high on the remastered albums, because that's what remastering means nowadays. It just means compressing it to shit and then putting a really hard brick wall limiter on your final tracks. So that'll really decrease the dynamics. So what we did is we just left the quiet parts, we left them be quieter than the rest of the track, and then our limiter was mainly limiting the loud points in the chorus. So what you end up with is just a really high RMS for most of the song and then a lower RMS for the next song. But I think for you guys, for your audiophiles out there, you actually really like a lot of parts of this album, because it's a lot softer at many points of the album than you'll hear in a lot of modern rock music. But then that really digging in, like kind of crunchiness comes in a lot of our choruses and is saved for specific tracks. So if you want an album that's diverse and it has a lot of dynamics to it, I think you'll go and listen to our album. And that's one thing we really aimed for when we were putting this together. An important thing to making your music dynamic is making it diverse. If you don't have diversity, your music probably won't sound that great. But again, there are exceptions to almost every rule. But again, I appreciate you guys tuning in for this discussion about dynamics. If you have any questions, concerns, or if you would like to review this album and leave your thoughts on it, I leave pretty much all comments in the comment section. If it's negative, I leave it in the comment section. But even if it's negative in a constructive way, that's what I appreciate the most. So, if you guys have any thoughts and concerns about that, leave them in the comment section. But this is Kurt, so hopefully you enjoy our album, Illusion of Youth. So, thanks guys. I wanted to come back and leave some examples here. So this is our one song. This song is titled Keeps Me Coming. So here's part of the song, and I'll show you the transition.
To say a little prayer for me. Yeah, it gets me coming.
So going from that clean sound to the heavy sound with everything kind of left in its own space, that's how these dynamics are achieved. So hopefully you guys enjoy this.
A cigarette is on your breath, a hydrogen goes